we're in Yandina and we've got
Jared.
And Stephen.
How you going, guys?
Fantastic, thank you.
And we just saw you randomly because you had all these lovely fine bromeliads.
Yes.
And you're saying they're for your house.
Yes, we've got a house in Mount Coolum and doing exotic broms in part of the front, and a bit more classically Melbourne the rest of the garden. Not really wanting a Queenslander, wanting something a bit more European and grand, but with the coast influence.
And you think having the European sort of influence up here works, given the weather?
Yes, definitely. I think so.
It's unusual, so it's lovely to have something a bit more classic and cultural.
Yeah.
And you guys, funnily enough, are from North Fitzroy, where we're from as well.
Yeah, it's I don't really miss North Fitzroy. I mean, the people are great, the food's fantastic, but the climate is crap. The property prices are ridiculous. Yeah. And the Gen Y coming through that were very ageist. Yeah. I couldn't handle that. And I couldn't handle cold coffee, boutique coffee. I like a warmer coffee. So, to tell the truth, but I miss Victoria Street. Yep. I miss cheap Asian meals with your mates and on a Friday night.
And tell me about, you sort of came here, I mean, it's a big change. Obviously, you told me about your background with hair, you had a hairdressing business and sort of flipping properties. To come here, and tell me about the experience when you were painting. You just told.
Well, I always wanted to paint, but I didn't want to be one of these poor artists that has to work in a cafe to go home and try and be motivated. So I thought, forget it. So I'll wait until I got some money. So selling in North Fitzroy enabled me to buy almost my dream home on top of the mountain. And put a sarong on by the pool and can paint enormous canvases, and it's living the dream. It actually is living the dream.
And what about just repurposing your life? Like you said, you have this goal of getting the house up, and you improve the house, and there's this constant escalator of life. How'd you manage to get off it?
Well, I actually thought that if I didn't leave Melbourne, there's probably death had come quicker than I thought, because the amount of stress, seriously unhappy with the grind in the cold, just not happy, and kept thinking, oh, when I'm a certain age I can go and change my life, and then one day I thought, I can do it now. And every day is much more important than the overall picture, I think.
And have you, obviously you've adapted quite well.
Yes. Yes, very well. Yep.
What's been the biggest challenge, you think?
Meeting people, because the Sunshine Coast breeds Queenslanders, obviously. There's a lot of people moving in here that think outside the square, which is good. And I just don't tolerate the slow Queensland mentality, actually. But as time goes on, there's more people and with a bit more taste, and there's some cool people opening some great places. So it's almost the pioneer stage of just getting in here and realising how good it is.
And you said you almost had your dream home, so what is your dream home?
Dream home, well, at the moment, the one that we're doing at the moment is overlooking the ocean. It's big and grand. It's what dreams that you couldn't do in Melbourne, you couldn't afford in Melbourne, but you can really afford it here.
And what do you think people haven't sort of caught on to this? I mean, they have this amazing life.
It's hard to break away from the security, so it's really hard to make that break. And not knowing anybody, and just to pack up and move somewhere where you've never been or never lived before, it's tough. So once you do it and get through the other side of it, it's great, but it is a hard decision to make. So we were lucky that Stephen was able to do that.
And voting was really, really, really strange, because it was my first election as a Queenslander. And I had a look at the ballot paper, and here's Pauline Hanson.
Oh no!
And Clive Palmer. What a truck is this? What have I done? But and then when you see people spruiking outside that are very pro them, and you can understand where they come from. That, probably a lot of people don't have passports, haven't really travelled, or aren't really open to things. Whereas Melbourne, inner city, we're open to everything and multicultural and love it all. So
that sense of Europe exists in Melbourne, whereas it's harder to find here. It does exist, but it's harder to find here.
But do you think the whole European thing really it's focused on the weather, and given that you've got, this is an outdoor climate?
I think as time goes on, people will realise that life's not a race. It's about helping each other. And that Melbourne thing about the race of getting the next, the bigger. And I've known people that have done that and ended up before 60 getting cancer and dying with a lot of money. And really sorry, that doesn't work for me.
And you think the community also helps as well?
And I mean, this is Yandina's fantastic country community, which is right on your doorstep with friendly people, and but it's also nice to find that intellectual, cultural understanding as well. That's what's harder to find.
And do you think as time goes on that there'll be a reciprocated where you guys coming here and there's like that movement from Melbourne and that culture will actually rub off in little bits?
I think yes, slowly.
Yeah.
The next 10 years, 20 years maybe.
Yeah, because you did mention
Takes time.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen, well, my plan is to eventually build something amazing, like a bunker art gallery in the hinterland area, and accommodate all my friends, because we're not going to have we're not going to retirement homes or any of that. So again, all my buddies will all look after each other, and what a way to go! Like plant food. It's warm all the time, so your bones won't be bad. The vitamin D is incredible. I mean, you change a lot. Your body changes.
Yeah.
And
Have you noticed that?
yeah, really noticed it. I mean, I was always pasty
been sick
white,
this
and now
year.
there's a bit of
like
colour.
Got through a whole year not getting sick.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Just no flus, and even going back to Melbourne in the cold, I usually get something like that. Nothing.
Yeah.
Really?
It's really good.
Yeah.
And you feel like in your skin and just overall.
You feel healthy.
Yeah.
Quality of life.
And eating like organic food, do you eat?
Try to, but
It's easier to get hold of it.
Yeah, here. And cheap.
yeah, much cheaper.
Yeah,
I mean, you're at the hub of it for this
I
area.
know.
And there's a lot of people that you might have seen a few people that look a bit more not Queensland. Did you see some? I saw it.
Yeah.
You sort of suss them out. You sort of look and think,
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
You don't
right,
look out of place.
Yeah, and so I bumped into a few people that I've known from Melbourne that live here and are doing the same thing,
Yeah.
and only bumped into them at Yandina Market.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, and just the last word, what would you say to anyone that's thinking about, doing the big change, lifestyle change, and they're caught up in that whole,
Rat race.
Rat race, get the new car, new kitchen.
Yeah, well, you've only got one life.
Yep.
If you've got kids and you just want to work to give them absolutely everything, knock yourself out.
Yep.
But if you value your own life and your own time, pack up, come on up, enjoy the proceeds that are left over from your sale of Melbourne,
Yep.
and start living.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
No problem.
Thank you.